What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, we're going to talk about today in the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial. I am fuming. I'm going to probably be a little bit more raw than I normally am in these videos. This is annoying. Today's day. Well, let's kind of recap the day. Not too much to glean from the beginning of it, other than Amber reported to one in particular person about having jealousy, about having all these issues that has been said from Johnny Depp's side. And Amber's, of course, never said that, or she's actually said the opposite. She said she's never had these kind of feelings. Then we had the motion to dismiss the case, in which I think Roddenborn just got destroyed by our good friend Ben Chu, right? He did incredible. He's the lead for Johnny Depp. He did great. He became very, very I don't know. He brought his emotion to the table today. He's waving his arms a lot more. He's more into it. I feel the passion from him, including the time when he said, like, I just can't wait to go up to counter, what he's saying. That was phenomenal. So ultimately, that's a normal process in a court case, right? That this thing happens, that the plaintiff rests, and then you basically have the part of it where you can try to stop the whole thing. Amber's side says, no, you know what? There was not sufficient evidence. We're done. We call for this thing to be shut down. And the judge said, no, sir. Let's hear Amber's side. Then we got this woman, this psychologist, this person who I don't doubt her expertise. I don't doubt she's been part of board groups and leadership positions. Here's the scary thing, though. I'm actually terrified of somebody like her, and this is where I'm going to get very freaking raw, because I got very upset about this. I've never been in a situation of domestic violence, okay? I understand I'm a man, cool, all right? But someone like this, having the kind of power that she has, with the clear biasness that she has, is so idiotic. And I hope that it rings to the jury, which Nick Rekieta, a lot of people are saying, I believe the jury is primarily males, which is good. I actually think it's a good thing, because basically what this woman says is domestic violence can only happen to women. Men can only be the ones to do it. And then they spent like an hour and a half going over her credentials, what she's done. In every example, she's always saying she, her, she, over and over. Whenever it's a case of somebody being abused, her examples are always she. That tells you a lot. You have to read in between the lines with these morons, because, to be honest, you just do. These people have clear biasness in their words, and you just have to kind of pick them out. If every single goddamn example you give, you say the word she when you're referring to the victim, clearly you're going in with a skewed mindset, and that's exactly what this person did. The only time she acknowledged or admitted that it could even go the other way is when she had to be asked that, and that's because for sure Johnny Depp's side is going to come at her and say, well, can't men be the victims here? Of course they can, and that's what she said. But then back to the normal rhetoric. Oh, this is every single goddamn time. It's always the woman, and here's the deal. A lot of the stuff she said, I'm sure, you have other lawyers and Nick Rekieta streamed all this stuff. A lot of people, I am sure, these kind of situations, I'm sure happen. I'm sure there are people that don't call the cops, or when the cops come, they fake it. They say, like, nothing happened. I'm sure there's people that put on pretty faces the next day after being abused. I understand that. I do believe that is the case. But when you make the claim so severely that it is only women, and you should basically laugh at the fact, oh, a man? Oh, my God, no. Oh, and by the way, like, men are more powerful, so if men do this to women, they're going to destroy them. If women do it back, if mild violence comes from the woman, there's always an excuse. There's always an excuse, and here's the freaking deal. This is what hurts the Me Too movement. This is why Amber is in this goddamn situation in the first place. She played the movement. The movement at its core is a solid movement. I've said it before. I'm not against the idea that women or victims or whatever should be heard. Of course they should. But the idea is you have this kind of I'm pointing at, because I have the video play, pause. The idea is you can combine those mindsets to make something truly evil and malicious. You have people like Amber who make stuff up, who play the system, right? You do have a society where people, 5 years ago, generally didn't believe victims, right? They gave the abuser the benefit of the doubt. The issue is when you believe all victims immediately, you don't hear the other side. You only believe one person's words over the other. That's not how it should go at all. That's very, very bad. Then combine it with people like this person. 50 years, or she hasn't been in it for 50 years, but she's talked about 50 years of research. Then you have people in her high positions. She teaches judges. She teaches, she's talked to police officers. This is a danger, I honestly believe. And you have somebody like this tainting the minds of people, saying, yeah, the people that get abused, they're women. I deal with women. I don't even think there's such thing as a man. Definitely not a man who gets abused. They don't exist. And when you have that kind of mindset, combined with the mentality that we need to believe all victims immediately, no matter what, and no matter evidence, they don't need to show evidence, we're just going to believe them. Combine those two things, and you get what we have right now. You get literally why Amber Heard is in the situation in the first place, because people don't believe her. But because as a society and the media and these corporations that back her, of course, it's a mentality in Hollywood. It's a mentality in the world now, social media. You believe them immediately. And when you have people that also think, oh, women can never do anything wrong. Well, can men be abused? Well, I mean, sure, but I mean, it's like 99 to 1. I mean, not really, actually. In fact, there's a girl named Andrea. I really like her. She's on Nick Rekieta's stream. I don't remember what the statistic was, but the expert claimed basically it was skewed towards men, that they would perpetrate something. I think it was violence, or maybe it was insults. It was something like that. And the real statistic is basically 50-50. Basically, it's even between men and women. So you have an expert up there just making up stats, just lying, right? Then you had, obviously, part 2, and I'm watching it currently. There's about an hour left. I wanted to get this video up just because I'm done, you know what I mean? But now, obviously, she's being talked about with Amber. She has to freaking read her notes. She's not prepared. She's reading from her cases, and Johnny's side is getting very animated, very fuming. Ben Chu, again, he is in the zone today, throwing his arms, looking at the jury, being like, what is this? This expert lady is getting very Karen-like, I think is the lack of a better term, very Karen-like whenever anything doesn't go her way. Look, you're allowed to have notes, but you can't just I can't go like this and just read in the that's not how it works. You're supposed to come prepared, ma'am. I mean, it's just what you're supposed to do. I guess there's also that, by the way, too. I believe she wasn't paid by Amber, but again, it actually doesn't help whatsoever because I'm sure she still has a fee, and also she's not doing this for Amber per se. She's doing this for the agenda. She in reality, I would argue, she doesn't need to be paid for this. She has a clear mindset of how things work in the world. Women are the only people that can get abused, and men are the ones who do it, and that's it. And so when you have that mentality and you're in the position of power that clearly it sounds like she is, you have to stick with that, and you have to just ride that. So anytime an opportunity comes, like, say, a huge defamation case between one of the biggest actors of our lifetime and Johnny Depp, of course you're going to step up and side with the woman because it's going to help the agenda. It's so obvious, and I pray to God. And again, the jury being males, here's the thing. And I guess I can speak to this being a male, right? I'm not in a domestic abuse situation. So yes, there are things that are outside my reach, and I'm not saying that certain things don't happen. I'm not saying that. But I can tell you that when you're labeled something over and over and over, when all we hear, and they call it out on Nick Rekieta's stream perfectly, when I listen to it, I listen to it on my phone, on my computer, and all I hear whenever she's giving generalities of any situation, of tests that she does, or examples of, well, what's psychological abuse, what's emotional abuse, what's an example of someone who, of jealousy. Every example, she always uses the pronouns, she, her, him, his. She always uses those, and it's always one way. Any generalized example she was ever asked or she brought up herself, it was always the her being the victim or the person that has to deal with the stuff, and the person who's doing it, the bad stuff, is always he. In fact, one time when she was generalizing things, she even brought their names up, which, by the way, you can't do. That should be an objection. They did object. The judge let it go, which is an absolute freaking joke, because she was being general, and then she's like, well, let me just throw in Johnny and Amber's name in real fast. That's not how it works. So, but you can, but actually, that's almost a good thing, because the entire time she's saying this, clearly she's talking, she is Amber, he is Johnny, and so whenever she's talking in generalities and she says she's clearly talking about Amber. The final thing I want to say, I'm looking at the time, as I always do. final thing I want to say is one of the most interesting things, though, and they were saying on Nick Rekieta's stream, is the order in which these people are going. She's going when there's no new evidence whatsoever. The only things we've heard are from Johnny Depp's side. Now, Amber's just a bunch of freaking lies in the first place, right? But whenever you hear these examples that she's giving, these generalities, people trying to get away, or people that'll yell because the other person yells, or people that, whatever, when she's giving these things, you're thinking of Johnny, even though she keeps saying she, which again is referring to Amber. We think, and again, I think honestly the jury would as well, we're thinking about Johnny because we've heard all of the stuff that actually what she's describing lines up perfectly with him. It doesn't line up with her. All the stuff that she's going through lines up with what we've seen him do. And that's horrible placement, because we have no new evidence of Amber being in these situations, and then we're saying, oh, so that's how she sees things, that's how she's experiencing. No, all we're seeing is from Johnny's side. So that's not even a biasness. That is, I think, just a missed opportunity of putting certain people first. I do agree. I think Whitney, I think she should have went first, and then Amber probably should go last. Amber, I think, is going to go next, which, again, is really, I think, very, very bad, but it's good to get the fireworks, for videos and for talking like this and for entertainment value, but I don't think the order is right. So, man, oh, man, if this is how it's going to go, this is going to be, I'm going to need some blood pressure medication. I'm going to have to go talk to my doctor. We don't have the same doctors as Johnny Depp and Amber. They don't give us all these illicit drugs that they can get on speed dial, but, no, if this is how it's going to be, people that, like, of course there's a biasness. Of course this person is going to have a biasness to Amber, just like everybody had a biasness towards Johnny, his witnesses. Like, duh. But it's worse because it's kind of her mentality on the world. It's her mentality on genders, it's like, it's so bad. And it's so obvious. I mean, it was obvious immediately once she started saying she. You start to pick it up. Immediately you pick it. You can watch it for 5 minutes and pick it up. Imagine watching it for an hour and a half. Like It's like that's so. God, I hope this isn't how it goes. Again, get Amber up there, have her tell her pity stories, have her lie, and then have Johnny's team come up. Now, when I'm recording this, I don't know if Johnny's team is even going to be able to go up today. If he does, we'll talk about the cross examination tomorrow in tomorrow's video. But I think it's pretty easy to go after this witness that I'm talking about. Again, you just go at, well, can men be the victims? Why in all your examples did you say she? All this kind of stuff. Well, don't you have to take her at her word? And she says, no, I did tests to prove that she didn't lie. Oh, but then I remembered she's a girl, and girls can't lie, so I just dropped those tests. I mean, it's so dumb. She said, basically it's, we talked for 29 hours, and no, there was zero faking it. She did admit for mild violence on her side, but it was major violence on Johnny's. She did admit to arguing, but she also admitted to Johnny arguing. Of course she's going to do that. What do you expect her to say? I beat him, I cut off his finger, all this stuff, and he didn't do anything to me. You think she's going to say that to you? Are you kidding? You know what I mean? And then again, from her, it's like, well, there's obviously a biasness, but she has to pretend that there's not one. So she says, well, there's all these feigning and faking tests that we do. But again, then I remembered, who she is, and she's a female, and I just talked about how females can't be abusers, so I immediately dropped those tests for fakeness because there's no way she could be faking it. This is how it worked in the first place. 3-4 years. This is why Johnny Depp was canceled, because of this mentality, and it's going to be fixed because I think people hopefully are seeing through this garbage. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turned on. Tomorrow we will go again. As I always try to remind you nowadays, Friday we will live stream just talking about the trial, and we'll go from there, okay? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.